Hello and welcome again to Stack Dollar. Thank you so much for joining me. So, my friend, in this episode, what we are going to talk about is how to manage our money. Now, in the previous episode, we saw that how the distribution of the income should be, and about 50% will go to your needs, 20% for savings, and about 30 for wants. Now, of course, you can mix and match some of these, but the 50% of needs definitely we need to make sure that that is under control, and on top of that I would suggest that even 20% of savings, even if you can do it little more, 25 to even 30, that would be better, because nowadays the cost is rising, inflation is higher. We haven't seen this level of inflation in the last, I would say, when I have seen 15 20 years. So it definitely is a concern, and the more you have as a cushion, the more beneficial it will be to you. So now the question is, how do you manage all these wants and needs that we need to capture, and the savings along with that? So what I have done is, actually I'll show you that I am able to save $13,514.85 as of today. I'll show you, but I have saved much more. I would say it could go into hundred thousands so far in these many years, and you can do it too. That this is nothing very special that I only know. I will show you how it is done. So the basic thing is, sorry, let me get this video out of this way. So basically, what we are going to do is, um, we are going to use an ultimate savings tool, I call it, which is multiple multiple savings accounts, or they are called sub accounts. So multiple savings account won't be required. You don't have to go to the bank and say, okay, open me account number one, account number two, account number three. That would be too much to manage. So I have found there are few banks, they allow to create one savings account, but then you can create underneath some sub accounts which you can manage yourself, with the main account having to do with just the bank's name. So this is the best tool, and what we'll do is, from the main account you can distribute through these different sub accounts, which are, we are going to satisfy our some of the needs, some of the wants, and even savings. So it is like multiple things in one that we can use it for. So it's like a multi-prong approach. So now how have I done it? Let me show you. But before I show that, um, let's understand why this is so useful. So obviously, when you have certain savings done automatically, and that's what I'm going to show you how it is done, that puts a control over your spending. The problem is, we have one main savings account. That's what actually I had experienced. We have one savings account, or a main account, and I would have $5,000, $50,000, you, depending on the time, and I would be tempted to spend money on the things that I don't think was appropriately to be spent, right? But when I started putting this money aside, my that main bank account started dropping with that balance, and because some of the money that I have been I started saving would be saved in these other sub accounts. So that way, at least money is out of my sight, and that way it is out of my spending spree or temptation, right? So now what will happen is, when the money is taken out and put it aside in these other savings account that I don't necessarily touch that closely, that is like, it is out of sight, and then that is where my main needs are taken care of. So I'll show you again. But some of the needs would be, for me at least, these are auto insurance, for example, that I pay every 6 months. There are some life insurance payments. I also have some emergency funds created, for example, some auto repair, some vacations, all these kind of things. When every year you think like, okay, let's plan a trip to Hawaii. Now you will need suddenly $5,000. Your car needs new tires. You know that it is going to be required. Your car will need certain servicing after 1 2 3 years, depending on those kind of things. Now you have sudden requirement of $500 to $5,000 or more or less, but at least you have this cushion set up that will give you a peace of mind, and that you don't want to underestimate. That peace of mind is the biggest thing. It will help you manage all this money very, very successfully. And that way you can focus better on other aspects of your life with your family, maybe your the other things that we are going to talk about are how to multiply. I think the focus should be more on multiplying the money rather than just trying to figure out how do I pay this bill now this month, right? So that's where this management will help. So let's take an example. I have shown I'm going to show like how these thousands of dollars I have started, but I started with just $1, $5, $10. That's how I built up. So here you can see this is I have one account with Capital One Bank, and in that I have created these sub accounts. So as you can see, I had a car payment which is already paid off. So that's why like 1 cent is the balance there. The general savings account I have kept for certain things. Vacation, as you can see, $4,000 so far it is there. Auto insurance, that I we have very high insurance cost, multiple cars and all. So auto insurance was one of my worries, I would say. Every 6 months suddenly you get a bill of 1,500, $3,000, depending on the time I was paying that. So I started putting this money aside. Term life insurance I pay every year because they give good discount if you pay yearly versus monthly. So I started paying myself in a way, put aside the monthly payment, but then get that discount and pay to the insurance the full amount every year. And the otherwise it is like first year you just have to set up. After that it's no brainer. You will have that money to pay yearly simply, but monthly you do take care of from your main checking account, and that's what will do it. So similarly there is a toy fund. Not necessarily just for the younger kids. My kids are not that small now. But toys are toys. Even I need a toy. For example, new iPad is coming out or new laptop may be required, things like that. These are all toys for us. Auto repair, as I was telling you, that also may require some work. So all these things have helped me, and I'm sure it can help you. So we'll talk about, there are some banks I'll show you how they offer. Doesn't matter whichever bank you work with. Another thing is, if you say I don't have an account with, let's say, Capital One or another banks, that's perfectly fine. In fact, that is better because in this case, for let me show you this a detail of one of the accounts. So as you can see on term life insurance, I have a balance of 2,700. But how it is built up, as you can see below, deposit from Bank of America. So my main account is actually with Bank of America. This is where I transact with outside generally, and I also get my all income into that account. But as soon as the income comes in, I have put a rule in here that it will get money from, or even in Bank of America we can set up that this money should go out to this external bank. Nowadays with this electronic transfer it's much easier. So why don't we take advantage of those kind of settings? That's what I have done. And as you can see, I'm just putting $45. I think it is every 2 weeks or something like that it is, or maybe every month, I forgot. But it's pretty simple, and you don't need to do too big an amount. So that's why it doesn't suddenly shock you that, oh, I have to pay now $500 or $2,000. But this $10, $25, $50, this is how I do it. I calculate what's the yearly amount. I divide it by whichever way I want to plan for, every week, every month, every other week, and I just set up that rule. That's it. So all the previous account we saw, there are small amount like this: $40, $20, $100, depending on the amount. But that's it. So that's how you can also do. Now, some of the banks, as I was telling, Capital One obviously is there. They used to call Capital 360, and we'll show you actual live website. We'll see. Another bank I found, Ali Bank, also allows to have. They call it buckets. They allow to also have this kind of sub account system in a way. Basically, you put that money aside. But what I suggest is, keep your main account like Bank of America or wherever you have it, Chase or whatever else. Keep that and this savings account separately. Not Don't even keep it in the same bank. The reason is because you will be tempted to even log into your savings account along with that, and you will say, oh, let me transfer from here to there. This is like, I hardly come to check my Capital One bank balance in general because it is all automatically paid. So I get money out of Bank of America, goes into Capital One, and from Capital One I have set of auto payment. So auto insurance, life insurance, all the some of these bills. I do have a few other accounts that I didn't capture those screenshot, but they are mostly paid automatically. And sometimes if I do need, let's say, auto repair, then I transfer from Capital One back to Bank of America, and I use my credit card and all just from that bank. So I don't have more credit card. We'll talk about credit card separately. That is a big deal and a big subject, but that is separate. So that's my way of doing it. Now I also found there is an app called YNAB. They call it You Need a Budget. That I think that's what they have created the acronym for. Now they do charge monthly fee, so be careful. But I heard that, I have not used it by the way, but I have heard that this app also allows to create those kind of sub account system. So now let's look at uh, actual website to see how they are done. So this is one. This is the Capital One that I was referring to. See, this is 360 performance saving, and this is where they are talking about track your savings on the go. This is the part I was talking. Automatic savings plan. Keep your personal online savings growing with automatic transfer. This is what you can do even from within your main checking account. They do allow to transfer to different savings accounts. So this is really a cool feature. Multiple account. This is exactly what we saw. Create multiple performance savings accounts with high rate of return, and then mobile check. So that's that. This Ali Bank. Let's go with their first page here. See here, if you find on the savings, they say save smarter data, and this is where they say organize using buckets. So put money aside, right? Set money aside for what matters to you, all in one place. So this is what they are talking about, that like digital envelopes, savings buckets, stash your cash from whatever you want, use them to track your progress and whatnot. So this is just an example. You can find out a little more about this bucketing thing. They call it, they call groceries just for fun, rent, gas, whatever buckets you need to create, it allows you. I think there's a limit on certain number of buckets you can create. I don't know about Capital One, but I haven't seen any limit there. Maybe here there is some 10 accounts or 10 buckets or something, but still that's more than useful. I mean, more than enough for you, and it is very useful. YNAB, as I was telling you, I have not used it, so I won't go too much into detail, but yes, you can check it out. It's ynab.com, and they do have a nice app. I found. Now because I did not use YNAB, the reason is I was using Mint app, and a lot of you might have used Mint. Unfortunately, they are closing it down, and things have been transferring to Credit Karma now. I have not received that email yet, so I had to wait to see how Credit Karma will help. I don't think it is as same feature as Mint had, but they do have some other features. So hopefully that will be useful. So we'll see that. Anyway, so back to our uh, main page, and which is basically, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time here, and hope you are getting some value out of this. My whole point is the encouragement that you need to save, because this will be the ultimate thing for you and your family. I have seen, for example, when I set this up, I was talking to a few of my friends, and we were exchanging some ideas, and it was very helpful. So that's the reason I am sharing here as my friend, and all these things will be helpful to some of these. If you have some other suggestion, please share in the comments. And actually I'm planning to create a community, because what I have seen is all these financial things, it's very hard to track all these details, and we haven't even gone to the next step, which is multiply, where there are so many choices. Should I invest in mutual fund? Should I have IRA? Should I have 401k? How much in this? Should I have Roth IRA? All kinds of questions do come up. So if we have a community built, we can exchange those ideas and suggestions, and we'll bring in some industry leaders also to share their thoughts. So all those things I'm planning. I'm thinking of creating a Facebook group. If you have any other suggestion, please share it, and we'll start talking. But again, thank you so much. Appreciate your help. And if you liked it, if it is something useful, please share it with your friends who can also benefit out of this. And please subscribe so that we can keep meeting each other. Thank you.